The city was a symphony of noise, a cacophony of honks, shouts, and the rhythmic hum of engines. Amidst this urban ballet, a lone figure moved with a quiet grace. His name was Elias, a municipal sweeper, and his task was to keep the city's streets pristine. With a worn broom in hand and a heart filled with purpose, he swept away the detritus of human existence, transforming the city's grime into a canvas of cleanliness. It was a typical morning, the sun casting long shadows across the bustling streets. Elias was lost in the rhythm of his work when a sudden commotion caught his attention. A sleek, black sedan had pulled over to the curb, and a man, face contorted in rage, was shouting at a pedestrian. As Elias drew closer, he saw that the pedestrian was a young woman, her eyes filled with fear and confusion. The driver, a hulking figure with a menacing aura, had stepped out of his car and was now pointing his finger aggressively at the woman. "You ruined my flower!" he bellowed, his voice echoing through the busy street. Elias's heart sank as he realized the driver was referring to a small, delicate flower that had bloomed in a crack in the pavement. The woman, clearly terrified, tried to explain that it had been an accident. "I didn't mean to," she stammered. Her voice barely a whisper, but her words fell on deaf ears. The driver continued to berate her, his anger escalating with each passing moment. Elias, moved by the woman's plight, stepped forward. "Please, sir," he said, his voice calm and steady. "Let's just calm down. There's no need to get so upset over a flower." The driver turned his attention to Elias, his face contorted into a sneer. "Mind your own business, sweeper," he growled. "This is none of yours." Before Elias could respond, the driver lunged at the woman, his fist raised high. In a split second, the situation had escalated into violence. The woman screamed as the driver's fist connected with her face, sending her tumbling to the ground. A hush fell over the crowd that had gathered around. The driver stood over the woman, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Just as it seemed that the violence would continue, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was a man in his late 30s, dressed in simple clothing. His face was serene, his eyes filled with a calm intensity. The man stepped forward and placed himself between the driver and the woman. "That's enough," he said, his voice carrying a quiet authority. The driver, taken aback by the man's sudden appearance, turned to face him. "Who do you think you are?" he demanded. "I am a witness to injustice," the man replied, "and I will not stand by while you harm another person." The driver laughed derisively. "A witness? You think you can stop me?" The man did not respond. Instead, he took a step forward, his stance low and ready. The driver, sensing a challenge, lunged at the man, but the man was faster. With a swift movement, he sidestepped the driver's attack and delivered a powerful kick to his knee. The driver cried out in pain and fell to the ground. The man continued to strike, each blow precise and devastating. Within seconds, the driver was subdued, his aggression replaced by fear and humiliation. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the man delivered the final blow, a powerful punch that sent the driver sprawling onto the pavement. The driver lay motionless, his face a mask of pain and shame. The woman, still shaken from the attack, stood up and approached the man. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You saved my life." The man nodded. "It was my duty," he replied. "No one should be subjected to such violence." As the police arrived to arrest the driver, the man turned to Elias. "I saw what happened," he said. "You tried to stop him. I'm grateful for your courage." Elias smiled. "It was the right thing to do," he replied. The man nodded. Indeed it was. As the man walked away, Elias watched him go. He knew that he had witnessed something extraordinary. A man had stood up for what was right, and in doing so, had shown the world the power of empathy and compassion.